1966, an NFL franchise came to Florida, and the Miami Dolphins were born. They tell an epic story.
The Dolphins have won Super Bowl VII.
Filled with history and tradition. Every season, new chapters are created, and with each chapter comes new stories. These are the stories of the men who became Miami Dolphins and their lives off the field. This is Under the Helmet. St. Augustine, home of historic buildings, pristine beaches, and where Miami Dolphins kicker Caleb Sturgis grew up.
St. Augustine is mainly a tourist town. I think a lot of people like to retire in St. Augustine or have kind of lived there for a long time. So it's an interesting group. It's a lot of fun. My favorite beach to go to, for sure.
Caleb moved to St. Augustine at a very young age.
My husband grew up in St. Augustine. I'm originally from Fort Lauderdale. We were married and lived in Boca Raton, West Boca, for 10 years, and my husband pastored a church there.
I'm a pastor of a church. I'm from St. Augustine and had planted a church in Boca Raton and pastored it for 11 years and had an opportunity to move to St. Augustine and start again.
Growing up in a large family, Caleb had only one choice when it came to sports.
Caleb, growing up, had to come in and just go with the flow. He was number 4 of 6. Having 6 kids, they didn't really have a choice of playing different sports. We turned out to be a soccer family.
Our oldest son was not very big for his age, and so we thought, well, what sport can you get involved in that size doesn't matter? And so they started playing soccer, and then we have 6 kids, and so it was too crazy to have them all playing different sports.
It was challenging. We'd have to sit down with our game plan during the week of who was to be where. And we were fortunate, had a lot of great people, of other parents who helped us.
Caleb would even take his skills on the road.
So I think when I was 9 years old, started playing travel soccer, and kind of played all over North Florida, and then we'd go on different tournaments. The older we got, the more places we went to.
So he's about 8 or 9 years old. He goes to Colorado for a week to play in a tournament there on one team.
Came back, I went up to visit him for half an hour, and before he was on the plane to go to Germany. And this was at 9 years old.
It wasn't a typical education system for Caleb growing up, as he would be provided a learning environment from home.
I was actually homeschooled all the way up until high school.
And the plan was to homeschool through high school. We didn't foresee them getting so involved in sports, and unfortunately the older kids turned out to be the guinea pigs.
Homeschool is great. I think you can get a lot more work done. I was usually done by noon every day, so I love that aspect of it. But from a social aspect, it's tough the first day you walk into public school and you go to sit at lunch and you realize you don't know any of the 1,000 kids that are in there eating lunch.
Playing sports helped, as he went in right away and got on the soccer team. So that was a way then that he would have a group of friends pretty quickly at the school. He adjusted very well, made good grades.
Caleb played soccer most of his life, but it wasn't until Dan Mowry, a kicking coach in St. Augustine, saw potential in him on the football field.
And he came up and the other kid I was coaching said, "Caleb, you want to hit a ball?" Caleb said, "Sure." Never kicked a football before in his life.
It was towards the end of soccer season, and I looked over and there's a few of the kickers on the football team kicking with who I didn't know then, but was Dan Mowry, who's a kicking coach in town. He played at Florida State, and just through my brothers and sisters, he'd kind of heard my name before, was just interested, and I was having a pretty good season in soccer and whatnot, and he just asked me to come over and kick a football.
Caleb just took some funny little odd steps, like he's coming to take a PK in soccer or something, and just drilled it down the middle, off the ground. Never kicked a football before. That just doesn't happen.
The first one I hit was from 35 yards, and I made it with pretty good distance. And I kind of see his eye light up a little bit, and I think from that point on, just pursued me to continue to kick and maybe kick on the football team.
We didn't have a kicker, so we actually just, we said, hey, we don't have somebody, so if you're not doing anything, come give it a shot. And If soccer gets in the way a little bit at the beginning, we'll deal with that. And he was good with it. It worked out. I was fine with it, and the rest has kind of been history.
Coach Wiles also saw value in Caleb and worked with him and his soccer schedule.
Coach Wiles had a big influence on me. I think if he wasn't understanding and where my priorities were and the circumstances, I don't think I ever would have gotten a shot to play football. I think a lot of high school football coaches have big egos and wouldn't let a soccer kid choose soccer over playing football. And that's something at the time I felt like I had to do, and he was completely understanding of it and wanted what was best for me. And because of that, I think I really thrived, and that really set forth my career.
He would climb the fences in the summer. He climbed 2 fences to get to our stadium if we weren't at the, in the school building, and he would climb those fences and he'd be out there kicking on his own. And then in the weight room, we would watch him. He's over there lifting with our linebackers. And because of his work ethic, we use his name all the time and explain to kids, you can be a self-made player. And that's really what Caleb did.
His work ethic was just different. He constantly called me or went and worked on his own, and became a craft for him, not just something to do. He just had the ability to strike a ball really well. And he and I knew that if he could get his form lined up and get things accomplished and get it straightened out, he had the chance to do something special.
My high school football team was very successful. Again, the reason I started playing was because we had such a good team. And first year we went 15-0, won the state championship, actually in Dolphins Stadium.
One of the really special moments that we had that I'll always remember is we went down 2005 and we actually won our first state championship at Dolphins Stadium. And Caleb was kicking off, and he was a sophomore, and he kicked off and it actually hit the crossbar or the uprights and bounced back and hit an official. But to kick off and kick it that far that it hit an official and bounces back was really a special moment. And it was either a GM or an assistant GM came up to me and said, "Where's he going to school next year?" And I said, "St. Augustine High." And he said, "No, we're in college." I said, "He's only a sophomore." So he had a 49 in that game as a sophomore in the state championship game. And then his senior year, we played in it again, and I'm going to say he hit a 51 or 52 or something, but just crushed it.